All right, welcome to week 10. We woke up Monday morning and hung out for the whole day in Sandy Hook. After sailing through the night and doing all the things, we needed a good, solid day of work. So you worked all day Monday?
That's all we did.
That's all we did. Because we knew we were excited about our day on Tuesday. Tuesday was day 65 of our trip. I only counted so that I could know what day it was, because this is a day I'd been dreaming about and hoping would happen for a very long time. And I wasn't sure when we first set out on the trip if it was even something doable. But we were actually going to take our boat right past the Statue of Liberty. So we got up, we were really excited for the day, and it was nice in the morning, and then somehow the fog started to roll in.
We have times we had to go because the current's very strong, and we wanted to go in with the current. At the end of the day, we wanted to go up the East River, and you definitely have to plan for the current there. It's very strong current, so we probably, I don't even know if we could motor against that current.
Right,
we probably would be barely holding our own. So we had time schedule, and then the fog came in. We couldn't really go in the fog. It was very foggy. So we're waiting and waiting until it finally did, maybe 11. It wasn't clear, but it was clear enough that we could see a little.
And we hoped that it was going to continue to burn off.
Yeah, we thought, well, by the time we get to the other side.
So we did have some plans that we were going to stay kind of around Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty for a while and maybe sail up one side of the Hudson for a bit and come back down before we headed to the East River. But the fog kind of changed that because now we had to be on a time schedule to get through it all. So we did a day of getting through some fun New York City things and some bridges. First bridge we went under was the Verrazano.
Yeah, we sailed up to that. We were going to sail under it, which we did, but we were barely moving because the current was against us and the wind is not great.
Kind of got blocked by the...
Yeah, it was, well, and then also the cargo ships going by. There were a lot of cargo ships coming in and out. Tugboat said, hey, closer to fine, I'm coming through with a tugboat and I'm pulling 2 barges. Can you go to the other side? And then I'm like, yeah, okay. So then we shot across the channel under the bridge to the other side, and then the wind really did die there. So we ended up needing to motor.
But it's interesting to be going this way instead of through the bridge in the fog where you can't really see exactly what's on the other side. Now we're going the length of the bridge to go under across. But you did a great job.
Yeah, it worked out fine.
We got through. Yeah.
Nobody hit us.
And then we pulled the sails and turned the motor on. We could have maybe at some point opened it back up because it was windy, but there's a lot going on.
It's
There's
crazy.
Boats everywhere. And
once you get up by the Statue of Liberty, those boats are putting out a wake. They do not care.
Oh, those ferries.
They're shooting out, and they put out a huge wake, and it's all hitting each other at different angles. So
there was enough to want to look at. For one, we wanted to see everything and to have to focus on then to worry about. So we did not sail past it, but we were right there, went past the Statue of Liberty, and we're coming up to the bottom part of Manhattan. Very cool view, seeing all the buildings and stuff. I've seen that from the Staten Island Ferry, been on the water.
It was cool,
but
though.
to be in our own boat was really, really magical. I think it did live up to my expectations, which some things maybe don't. So then we headed east, and like you say, had to hit the East River right around 3, but we were a little later. It was like
around 3:30. Yeah. It actually worked out better. The current was stronger,
but we were going, pushing
it was fine.
Us. Yeah. And the main thing you had to concern yourself with, which isn't a huge concern, but you knew which marker it was, is to stay to the left when you get to Roosevelt Island. To the right, there's a bridge that goes over to Queens. It's a drawbridge, and having to wait in the current would be really too.
You do need to pay attention because you really need to go over. You think, oh, I need to be on the left side, but no, you have to go way over and cut back along the wall there. I don't know that I would have known. I mean, I guess I would have known to do it. I looked at the charts and all, but you really have to know to do it.
Luckily, you did a lot of reading before we went through all of this.
Yeah.
You'd see a side of Manhattan from the water that I've never seen. I've never been on a boat on that side. So that was kind of fun because you're looking down the streets. You know, New York is so gridded, and I could literally count, and I found which one, and I got a good photo of the Empire State Building. So it was kind of fun to see it from that side. And then we went under a bunch of bridges. We went under the Brooklyn, Manhattan, and the Williamsburg. They call it the BMW. I had never heard that before, but I don't do as much with the East River. I always, I think, do New Jersey side into Manhattan ever since childhood, but the little kid memories I don't have of all of those bridges. So we went under all those, which was fun, and just saw a different side of Manhattan than I was used to.
The big excitement after that is you go through a park called Hellgate. Supposedly, it's just crazy to go through the current, and it is weird current, but it's not that bad.
At the right time.
Overground found we were going over 11 knots, which is very fast for us. We're cruising through there, and then all of a sudden, you can feel the boat slow down because the current switches, and it's just like, woo.
Because it's when the Harlem River's coming in.
Yeah, and then as soon as you get through that part, it's like, whoa.
Accelerates again.
It didn't really spin us around or anything odd.
No, but the boat behind us, we looked back at one point, there was a catamaran kind of following us through a lot of it, and when we looked back at one point, they were way over.
Oh, yeah, they were right against the shore.
So we're hoping they did that on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because we hadn't looked back in a while to see.
But we know they were fine because we saw them come out. After we got through Hellgate, it actually started blowing decent, and we started sparring with the catamaran a little bit because they pulled out their sails, we pulled out ours, and we were racing for a little bit, and then the wind just died. We ended up motoring.
Went around Rikers Island. We were out now into the Long Island Sound, heading east, and stopped past Kings Point, which is where the Merchant Marine Academy is, and then ended up in Port Washington.
And that was uneventful, in that it was easy.
Oh, yeah, we had to
Beautiful
radio
harbor.
as we came in, and they just told us which mooring ball to catch.
They said just pick one.
that's
And
right.
there was a bunch there, and we just...
The yellow ones we had.
Yeah, it was easy.
Yeah, that was
no
easy.
big deal. And they had a launch there that you could use, and the first night's free.
Oh, yeah, the first night of staying
yeah.
in the marina in the harbor was free, and then after that we paid for a couple days. So the first night, that had been just such a full, fun adventure. And I guess choppy down by the Statue of Liberty, and then some in the East River. I don't know. When we got off, because we went into town to get dinner.
I had to hold you up.
I felt, my legs were more wobbly, and it's funny. Maybe we don't get off right after a full day of sailing. Usually we sleep, and then the next day we go exploring. I'm not sure, but it was unusual for me to feel again.
She was walking like Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, but we did find a pizza place was good because that was your favorite pizza.
Yeah,
so
that was
far.
the best pizza that we've had on the trip so far.
We took the dinghy that night, and then the next day, Wednesday, we kind of explored Port Washington a little more. We took the launch, we called it.
Right.
You just have to request it, and you just say you're on Yellow 8, and they come get you.
Yeah, they pick you up, take you in.
That was fun. And they took us in, and we went to West Marine, and of course looked for the oil filters. I think
we've given up on those.
They don't exist.
No, we'll have to ship them somewhere.
Yeah.
We figure that out.
You have
one
to
day.
order them, right?
Forever somewhere long enough, we'll
Right.
ship them there.
There was a Target there. We went to Target because, of course, we had to stock up on our Bic pens in case we ever need them. The first ones running it so far, we didn't want to run out because you never know. Went back to the boat and really just relaxed.
Yeah, we actually thought we were going to go into the city, and we didn't.
No.
We collapsed.
Yeah,
And just
we
said,
did. We enjoyed the harbor, which is really, really beautiful. But then had the big plans for Thursday and Friday.
We walked to the train station, took the train into the city, did that both days.
We were trying to think of things we haven't done in the city because we've been there several times. So we were actually talking to the bartender, not that we haven't gone to an Irish pub in the city, but we asked her, we said, we've been to this city a few times, what are some things you would suggest? And one of the things she suggested was to ride the Sky Tram from Manhattan over to Roosevelt Island, which we had seen the day before when we were sailing, or when we sailed through. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. Didn't know anything about it. We thought we would find out about it. So when she suggested it, and she said, yeah, it just cost a subway fare. You just have to have your Metro card and you swipe
$2
it.
or something.
$1.90, I think.
Yeah.
Right now. So that was really fun because it was something I had never done in the city. So
Yeah.
we rode that over. We explored Roosevelt Island a little bit.
Which we had never been on.
Never been on. If I had as a child, I don't remember.
So now we've sailed the East River, we've walked on both sides.
And we've taken a trip.
And gone over the top.
Now we know the East River even maybe more than the Hudson. That was really fun. And I also got to go to the Broadway Museum, which was really fun for me. And you were smart to say, I want you to go because I wanted to read everything and take my time. And you didn't want to rush me.
You enjoy museums, and I enjoy them a little, but
I spent the good 2 hours at least, I think, for sure. And so you found some other things to do.
I went to a bookstore and tried to find something good.
Because he's done with the trilogy. He read the whole series.
Yeah, so I've got The Demon of Unrest. It goes through some places we've been.
A lot of Charleston.
So I'm hoping it'll be good. But if you know of any good sci-fi books, let me know.
Put them in the comments.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful. Some other fun things we did in the city. We, of course, went to Bryant Park, which I enjoy. It's just a fun place to sit for a minute and regroup. And we went to the public library. I thought the children's section was in the downstairs of the big, beautiful public library, but either it's moved, confirmed with Sarah because she thinks the same thing. I think it moved to across the street. I think it used to be down there. So then we had to go across the street to the other library and check that out. And there was some fun community puzzle, but there was a guy who was not being very community. I saw him working on the puzzle.
Yeah, it was hard for you to weasel into the puzzle. He was like,
well, right. So I saw him and he looked intense and kind of enjoying it. So that's when we went downstairs, explored the whole children's library, came back upstairs. He's still there doing the puzzle. So I just kind of went by it and glanced at it. I never got to put in a piece.
I thought you did one piece.
No, I didn't. Right. He was enjoying it, and that's fine. But it was not the community event I expected it to be. We went to the Brooklyn Diner, and I had a patty melt, which was great. On Friday afternoon, we were going to meet up with Aaron and Shannon. Our cousins were coming in from Jersey, and my friend Joe Kennedy met us from Long Island City. I thought he was at work that day, but he works from home on Friday. But he took the train in anyways and came and hung out with us. We went to a place called the Frying Pan on the Hudson, and it's this big old boat that has been turned into a bar, and we were on the top floor, and it was windy. Oh my gosh, it was so windy up there.
It was.
The sun came out, and it was beautiful watching the ferries go by, the helicopters. Sometimes were a little loud, but there was just a lot of fun things to see and to look at.
A lot of
and the
New York activity.
And Aaron said, I don't know, do you want to do water things? For them, it was fun and exciting because they were going to try and come out to the boat, but where we were able to get the mooring in Port Washington was a little far for people, so it didn't work out so well, but it worked out great for us, and it worked out great to see them in the city.
One strange thing was we tried to get spots in New York. They're
Staten
booked.
Island,
yeah, they're booked.
So we got on a wait list and never heard back.
I thought there'd always be a transient slip somewhere or transient mooring ball, but it just wasn't very easy to find.
And then from dinner, we walked over to this other place just to have some after dinner drinks, and I wasn't paying close attention to the time, but luckily you were, because at one point you said, we need to go.
Yeah, the last train.
Oh, no.
It's not the train.
Right. It wasn't, we weren't worried about the last train of leaving New York City. Obviously, that happens all night. But the last train we could catch to get to the other end, to walk back down to the dock, to get on
the
water
launch.
taxi. Yes. Because Aaron's like, what do you mean the last train? We're like, no, we mean the last opportunity. So we did.
I don't know what happens if you miss that launch and you're stuck on shore and you're looking at your boat.
There's your boat out there. No, so we rushed. Aaron had picked the spot by Penn Station.
Yeah.
So we were close, but it was funny because we were hustling a little bit. While we were out to dinner, we had talked Joe into spending the night on the boat.
Yeah, so he came.
He's hustling with us. We're trying to, and he has to actually buy a ticket now on the Long Island Railroad because we had our go home.
Oh, right. And
round.
His foot was bugging him, so he had to hustle down the hill.
Sadly, we're running, but we got on the train with plenty of time. And then the walk home was very pleasant.
He was tough.
Yeah, he's tough. The plan was Saturday, we were going to sail in Pelham Bay, which I was excited about because my dad grew up in Pelham Bay. And we had looked when we were planning the trip, and yes, it is big enough and something we could do. So that was going to be Saturday afternoon's fun, and Joe came out to do that with us. Don't ever plan on a sailboat because something will happen, and unfortunately...
I mean, I guess it's good it happened right then. We went to start the engine, and it didn't work, and then I realized actually nothing worked. Nothing on the boat. I guess we didn't notice it because the solar was powering everything directly. The batteries were doing nothing. The ground for the batteries, the switch for that had broken the night before when I was moving some wires around, and I guess I kind of pulled that switch.
Oh, right.
And it broke it, which is weird, but it did. Everything was down except for what the solar could charge, which it doesn't have enough power to start the engine and other things. So
right, it would almost go to start, and then everything would go...
It was very puzzling at first what was really going on. A bit of debugging just to figure out that switch was
So Joe
bad.
and I, of course, asked all the silly questions. We're like, well, what about this? Well, could it be this? Because we don't know, but we thought maybe asking questions would spark your thought process. And I think maybe we helped.
Yeah, it always helps.
We tried to stay out of the way.
We love to brainstorm. We did figure it out, what was wrong, and then it took me a few hours to fix it. And
thank goodness you are there. So
then we also went back to the marine store to buy the part.
Because he had a part on the boat to use to fix it, but then we had to make sure to have the replacement part. part's always smart too. So we walked into town, got some lunch, and then walked Joe to the train station. It was a different afternoon, but really the 3 hours John was working that we sat on the boat and watched the harbor and the boats go by, it was really a really pretty sunny day. Not hot, just pretty. It felt like relaxing. Joe says, I felt like I was sailing anyway. He's out there on the boat, in the water. It was really just an enjoyable day.
It's actually an interesting harbor. A lot of people were sailing in and out of it.
Yeah, it was a perfect day to be sailing. So then on our way home, I was searching for some black and white cookies. That's one thing I didn't get to do in New York City. There wasn't a bakery open. I guess it was late in the afternoon on Saturday, so I was kind of disappointed, but I settled for Italian ice instead, which was a fun treat. Sunday, after playing all week, John had to work, which is important.
That was pretty bad. I had planned on working a lot of days, but
New York
it just didn't work out. I had worked Monday
before we left in Sandy Hook.
Yeah, and then here I am Sunday. I was like, I
need to put some hours.
I think we stayed an extra day than we.
Yes, we extended our moorings so that
I could get a day of work in.
And then after all day of work, we needed to provision, and we hadn't done that yet.
Oh, right.
So this was our first time getting groceries from a mooring ball, because we've done it from the dock where we have the wagon. But we brought the wagon on the launch and took it into town and went to a store called Stop and Shop. Very popular, apparently, because even when we needed to know where the dinghy dock was, the woman goes, it's by the Stop and Shop. And I thought, is that the marina store? Is that... I didn't realize that was a chain grocery store.
It's no Publix.
No, it was not.
The produce was not much, but which is one of the things we needed.
Yeah, but we provisioned, we found some stuff, and then we took the wagon back, disassembled the whole wagon, you folded it up to actually climb onto the launch. So we put all the groceries on the launch, got the wagon on the launch.
What we realized is mooring or anchoring, we could do it continuously pretty much.
Yeah,
there's really nothing we need from the dock. If the power's working right, which we fixed, because that would have been disastrous if we didn't notice it. It would have not charged the batteries
or run the fridge.
But luckily we found it early and were able to fix it.
On a day, like you say, even though we didn't sail, we had know where we had to be. We were staying for a couple more days on the mooring ball. So if it had to happen, it happened on the perfect day.
We can get all the power we need. The water lasts a long time.
Yep.
There's really nothing that we need to go to a dock for.
So it's working
out great.
All right. So
that's
next? The end of week 10. And next is the Long Island Sound, doing some sailing.
Which, by the way, the Long Island Sound just looks fantastic to sail in. We haven't really done too much sailing in it yet, but it just looks so open, and can't wait to do it.
We've just done the little part by Kingsley.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to that.
Thanks for watching.